So hello there everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be discussing what is still left, possibly could still be left from the remaining 2 developer diaries. Obviously the second developer diary was uploaded yesterday. If you haven't seen the video, in the description or any of the F1 2018 videos, if you may miss something, whatever, all the videos are in a playlist of which you can find in the description below, and also if you're on the channel homepage at the bottom as well, has got the full playlist there as well, so you can go and watch any video that takes your fancy. But yes, you can see this is the list. If you remember back to Monaco, Charles Leclerc was it feels like a couple of months ago now actually, Charles Leclerc with that gameplay. Remember, there were some leaked features at the time that we didn't actually know about. These are the features that are on your screens now. So what we've seen so far, we've seen some time pressured interviews. I'm sure you'll see some more stuff from Arav, who's been at the press conference. So he's a very lucky man, and apparently everybody's making fun of him on Twitter because he's now Valtteri Bottas's best friend, I think is the most appropriate phrase to use there. But yes, so time pressured press interviews. What I've seen so far, I think the time is far too short on the 4 options. It needs to be based on the options. If it's not based on the options, no comment. As simple as that. What happens if the timer runs out? We haven't actually seen yet what happens if the timer runs out. Does it give us no comment? We can't read the questions in time. There needs to be longer time on the press. So yes, definitely. What seems so far, it's too short on the more wordy answers, and it's just about right on the 2 options ones. Expanded paddock locations and interactions. Now I thought that so far they have announced, they've shown you a couple of things where you get interviewed outside your crew, outside of your garage, and also in sort of a hub place. But they haven't really shown you around anywhere else so far. If that's the 2 most important new locations where you sit down for an interview, or you sit down or you standing up on your way back to the weighing scales, but it seems to just be for interviews where these locations are. It's not actually doing anything to do. The only exception is to do with Carl, which I believe now it is replacement for Chris. Chris is sadly gone after his enthusiasm, I should say, from the previous F1 games, and now he got an Australian. I think he's Australian. He sounds Australian. If I'm wrong, you can rectify me in the comments, please do, because I don't want to be saying he's Australian in another video when it's wrong. But yes, we've seen that, but ultimately we are expecting a little bit more in terms of more paddock locations, and ultimately it's not just about having new locations, it needs to be about the variety of locations, so you're not always in the same location at the same time. So in interactions, what interactions? You don't have any expanded interactions. We haven't seen anything about that yet. So yeah, paddock interactions other than a new computer screen. You can't go upstairs, you can't walk about yourself, which would be amazing to be able to walk around, even if it was just walking around just the room. I know it's a lot, but it would make so much, it would add so much to the game than it already is. Hopefully but I don't know if interactions is actually going to pursue driver contracts has already delivered up to it 3 times. Again, that's already been that's been covered pretty well, in my opinion. Terminal championship rivals, simple, something from the old days where you got to actually pick your rival. Manage reputation, again, it's going to be the interviews, but again, it's not always clear which one you should take. So and obviously press reputation feedback as well, sports showmanship. I've also seen where things are upgraded a particular department. If you give them a good reputation in the press, then they get an extra boost. Now, one thing we haven't seen yet, expanded pre/post race broadcast speech. What I have seen is that you get to pick a nickname for you, a bit like in F1 2014. You got to pick a nickname, which never actually got mentioned, but you never then got to pick a nickname. So now, if you choose that nickname, apparently David Croft will refer to your previous races performances. Hopefully it refers to the AI as well, to provide that variety and not just about you. If you're, let's say, at Williams and you finished 12th, which for Williams is an achievement, but in terms of the previous race is not really relevant. So yes, post-race broadcast speech, there wasn't really a lot. It was pretty much, there's a familiar red suit on the top of the podium 200 times in 2017. Hopefully it's varied. What we want to see is variety, not the same expression. I know that they're not going to be able to change anything now, but hopefully they can maybe do an update for the game, or add this on to F1 2019. Additional classic cars, we've already seen all of that. Previous videos touch on that. They've only got one of the 3 that was in the game files on 2017 though, so that was a little intriguing why they couldn't get the Benetton. I understand why they didn't want to have the F1 2013 car, because it's too soon. Maybe in about a couple of years' time, when we get to F1 2020, when we got the new regulation, F1 2021, excuse me, when we got the new regulations, then that might be a time to bring in the RB13, because that car will be 8 years old now, same age as the RB6. So yes, from 2010. Another thing additional classic cars. As I said, I've mentioned what I wanted to see and what personally are my favourites over the years, but you can't pick and choose, unfortunately. So the community got what it wanted, and we'll have to see if the community reacts again to getting another classic car added to the next year's game. One big thing though, and I would say will be the next thing, because when they announced the Drivers Developers 2 on Twitter with the links to the YouTube and the blog post, literally every single comment was, where's the multiplayer gameplay? What about multiplayer? When are we going to see some multiplayer content? You get along those lines. Player ranking super license in multiplayer is pretty much the only thing we haven't already got details on how it's going to work. It's the only thing that's really left. I think that this will be released for the next developer diary, and I'm going to say 2 things. One, we're still yet to get a full trailer with all this stuff in, so I imagine the last one will have the trailer with it and about getting everything ready for the game and talking and stuff about like that, and a few personalisation that might see there. So there might be some few little minor details that they want to bring to the front in that last developer diary. But I think the third developer diary, which if they're doing it every other week, we are now on the 26th of July. If we discount next week, that's going to be the 8th of August. And now, the problem, I don't think they're going to be doing every other week, because if they do that every other week, the final one would come out on the 22nd. That is so too close to the 24th for the release date. So, here's what I suggest. Here's my suggestion. There will be a developer diary next week showing multiplayer and how the super license will work. If not, then they're going to lose out big time on people who will want multiplayer, because who only play it for multiplayer, who don't just play multiplayer. They don't play any of these single player stuff, they just play multiplayer. Multiplayer is becoming a big thing now in 2018, what with Forza Horizon 4. I don't need to go on. They've all got these multiplayer, like the Crew 2. They've all got these multiplayer open worlds. It's all about multiplayer, and that needs to be the same thing with F1 2017. Otherwise, they're going to be left behind. Next Wednesday is actually August the 1st. So if they're going to bring it out on Wednesday, it will be August the 1st. Then it will be August the 8th the following week for the final one, which will have, again, the personalisation stuff that we haven't seen yet. I reckon that will be in the last one, along with the trailer, and then obviously Lee Mather giving his views on how he prepares for the release and so on. That's what I think is going to happen. If it goes against that, then well, I shall correct myself in the later video. But that means that would leave 2 weeks and 2 days from the 8th of August for everything to be promoted. So the trailer will be promoted throughout YouTube. I'm sure those of you who have advertising on YouTubers' channels will probably see quite a lot of that advert. I'll again cover that when it gets released. And ultimately, yes, I would also then allow them to push the promotion for the game and get new viewers interested in the game, new players, interested in the game. Ultimately, they got people like Arav and Ben who are going to be probably stealing all the views again in their career modes. I'm trying to dissuade Ben for doing so, because otherwise he will steal all the views and I'll end up with none again. But I will go on unlike last year. I promise that, because I'm different doing it this year. Different this year. 24th of August is a day off for me from work, so something different there. Yes. Ultimately, for the ERS management, we've pretty much already seen how that's going to work. It's going to be at the bottom, and there's also the additional practice program of that now, which I've seen. Literally the only addition is about ERS management practice. Ultimately, you can have it on auto. I'm undecided if I should have it on auto or not. If it's going to be too much for me on my pad, because well, I'm gonna have to wait and see. I will give it a try. If I find it too difficult, I'll put it on auto, and see how the auto thing works. Because at the end of the day, they said, I think they mentioned something about R&D being on auto on F1 2017, and it never was. But yes, that's literally what I think is going to happen over the next coming weeks, which is going to be interesting to see multiplayer gameplay, which they never promote, but they should do, because the esports pro draft has already been done, and they're just waiting for the game to be released. To see multiplayer and have stuff on esports, that should be its own journal. But that is it for today's video. Hopefully you have enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, to see more F1 2018 game videos as when they come out next week. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. And thank you so much for listening to what I have to say. I really appreciate it, your time on this matter. As I said, let me know what you think. Twitter, comments, whatever you want, and I'll get in touch back. Give me the day, okay, because I do work, and So I won't be able to. If you're commenting at 9 a.m. in the morning, don't expect an answer at 9:05 because I'm in the middle of work. I won't have seen your comment until 12:30. So, anyway, I've ranted on too much about working. So, I'm going to leave it there. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day, and goodbye.